What's up, little M's beauty babes? So right now I got a lot of requests in my Instagram DMs about doing my PCOS story. A lot of women and teenagers, teen girls wanted to know what it is, pretty much my story, and like how I handle it, like medications, like covering all of that. So I just wanted to make this one big video for you guys about my PCOS story, because I feel like it's super important, especially for women, because it's just an important thing to know about. And like if you feel like you're having symptoms that I'm gonna explain, like people that deal with PCOS, it varies into different symptoms. So before I get started, give this video a fat thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to always be notified with my videos. Comment what you guys think of my PCOS story, and please let me know down in the comments if you guys feel like, if you're a teen and you feel like you relate in a way to the symptoms and like things I'm about to explain to you, because then you should either ask a guardian that you're living with to take you to the OBGYN. So I'm just going to really get into it. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I really want to get into depth with it and explain everything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy my story. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my PCOS story. Why I want to make this a big video on my channel is because a lot of girls are misdiagnosed with thyroid or something that they believe they don't have, and they think it's PCOS. So if you feel like you have PCOS while you're watching this, just go to your gynecologist and get checked out. Ask if you could get blood work, if you could get an ultrasound and all that, like an internal, external ultrasound. That's how they diagnose you with PCOS. But when you hear PCOS, right, it's a short-term meaning for polycystic ovary syndrome. I always get mixed up how to say it, but it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. And pretty much when you hear the word polycystic, you think of cyst. Now, in that pretty much means is not every woman gets cyst because of the PCOS. Not every woman deals with that. A lot of women get different symptoms and different like things that their body does differently towards other women. You know, like a lot of women get different symptoms than me. So it's like, it makes you question a lot of things, because when you hear a person going through more stuff than you, and it's just like, shoot, man, like you're going through PCOS, but it's a little harder for you. So I'm going to give you the true meaning of PCOS, and then I'm going to give you my definition to PCOS and like what it means to me. So polycystic ovary syndrome is a condition that affects a woman's hormone levels. Women with PCOS produce higher than normal amount of male hormones. This hormone imbalance causes them to skip menstrual periods and make it harder for them to get pregnant. Now, pretty much women with PCOS have an excessive amount of male hormones in their body than female hormones. And pretty much the symptoms that some women get, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, because you know, I get different symptoms, every woman gets different symptoms, but so give me a second. So the symptoms that people with PCOS get is depression, anxiety, disordered eating, sleep disorder, anger, sadness, feeling alone, feeling unheard, body image issues, mood swings, hair loss, acne, oily skin, skin tags, fatty liver disease, high blood pressure, ovarian cancer, insulin resistance, diabetes, high cholesterol, high male hormones, weight gain, bloating, miscarriages, infertility, abnormal bleeding, painful cysts, irregular cycles, poor memory, fatigue, and sleep apnea. I don't know how to freaking say that, but that's typically what people get with PCOS. Every woman's different. They don't get every single thing on that list. What I deal with my PCOS is I deal with depression. I feel like I was pretty depressed when I found out, but I feel like it got worse over time. I have high male hormones. I have an extreme weight gain that I dealt with, and I'll explain that in my story situation. I have high blood pressure. I have thyroid disorder. What else? I don't have any cysts, thankfully. And I have body image issues, of course. Mood swings. Oh my god, my mood swings, girl. I don't deal with acne. I have really bad oily skin. I noticed that I've always had bad oily skin, but I thought it was because my hair always being in my face, but I noticed even when my hair is up, my skin is oily. So that sucks. I get weight gain, fatigue. I noticed that I've been having like a little bit of poor memory, not too bad, but like I forget where I place things, and I feel like that's normal for everybody. I did have irregular cycles for a very long time, so I'll tell you guys that in my story. Feeling unheard because a lot of people don't understand. What else? I have high cholesterol. And I think that is it on that list. But a lot of women get different symptoms. Some are worse than others. Some are less than others. Some are, you know, pretty much in the middle. But just having PCOS is like, it's an obstacle. It's a big obstacle. And if you guys feel like people don't understand, like if you feel like not like really out of it, or like you feel like there's something wrong, make sure you go to a guardian and let them know like you want to go to the gynecologist and get checked out. Like whether it's your grandma, your mom, your dad, anybody that you live with, if you're a young teenager or if you're older, just make sure you go get checked out. Not that you need any permission to do that, but if you're a young girl between the ages of 14, you cannot go to the OBGYN without a parent consent because you're pretty young unless you're pregnant. That's a different story, but pretty much I'm going to start explaining my story about PCOS. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I really wanted to make this like a really good video for you guys because I've been wanting to talk about this and I feel like it's necessary to talk about. So pretty much my story with PCOS is I was, let me go way back. So when I was 16, I went to the doctors. I found a doctor where I live and they accepted my insurance finally. So I was like, alright, we're going to go to the doctor, we're going to get a checkup. So they asked me to get blood work. They checked my blood pressure, they checked my cholesterol, and my cholesterol, my good and bad cholesterol was really bad. Not really bad, let me not be dramatic, but it was high for it to, we needed to lower it pretty much. They made me get blood work, they checked my weight, and I was dealing with, so before I went to the doctors, I was dealing with a lot of issues before that. So I was telling my mom that I was dealing with irregular periods. Now, I've never dealt with that ever. And so pretty much what happened is I pretty much didn't get my period for close to 7 months. And I knew something was wrong when I wasn't getting it for that long. And I was worried because I know every woman is supposed to get their period. So, because you're supposed to pretty much let that out of your body. So I was pretty much worried, and I told my mom, like, I want to go to the doctor, I want to get checked out. So I started searching for doctors, primary doctor, to get my blood work and all that done. So, and also I did gain over 100 pounds within 5 to 6 months. I remember this because that was like my lowest point when I was 16, was dealing with the weight gain and my irregular period. It was just hitting me at once, and it was like pretty tough because I was going homeschool. I was dealing with the weight gain, and like I was barely eating to the point where I was just gaining weight for no reason. So I found a doctor, and they checked my weight, and I was 243. And that was like my lowest point, because, and like my voice is very stuttery right now because I'm trying to hold myself back from crying, because that was like my lowest point. So I'm sorry. That was my lowest point. And it was like really hard to accept like the weight gain, because I let myself, like, I didn't let myself go, but like I felt like I let myself go. And I felt like a lot of it had to do with my period also, because like my body was just out of whack and I didn't know. I had no control of that, and I didn't know about it. So they checked my weight, they checked my height, and for that weight and my height, I was only 5'1". I'm still 5'1", so my weight was too much for being that tiny. So they checked my blood pressure, they made me get blood work, what else? They checked my ears, my throat, regular checkup. So they pretty much, I went to the Quest Diagnosis, and they took I believe 6 tubes of blood, and I don't know what they were checking for, but I knew that they were checking for something, and I didn't know what. So I got like 6 tubes of blood taken from me, and I was like, girl, I could deal with needles. Like it was just, that was a lot of blood, and I got lightheaded, so it was like tough, you know, and I was really hungry, so my parents pretty much took me out to eat after, because I get really lightheaded when I don't eat after getting blood work. So pretty much you know, you have to wait like a couple days, like 3 days to a week to get blood work back. So my primary doctor finally called, and they told me to come in. They didn't tell me why, they just said to make an appointment to come in. So I made an appointment that Friday. I don't remember what Friday, but it was a Friday, because that was when the doctor was available. And so pretty much I had this guy doctor, and he pretty, no, I had a girl doctor actually. I had a girl doctor, and she pretty much told me that my cholesterol was high, and that I needed to bring it down by changing my diet and exercising, and that, what else? I'm trying to remember what else they checked for. My pulse was good. No, not my pulse. My blood count. My bad. My blood count was good. And then I didn't know they checked for this, but they checked for hypothyroidism. And sure enough, my levels were high. My thyroid level was high. And they told me that I have hypothyroidism, and I didn't know what the hell that was. And she pretty much explained the whole situation to me, which is like another imbalance, like a imbalance change with your thyroid. So I was pretty crushed at that point, and she's like, that's probably why you were gaining the weight and like your irregular periods. So I was like, shoot, so what do you have to do about this? So pretty much I had to go on pills. I don't remember what milligram I was on. I believe it was 30 at the time. Um, so I pretty much went on medication for my thyroid, and I was pretty scared because when I was 16, I was not a pill taker. I was a chicken shit. I hate pills. I've always hated pills, but I really got so used to taking pills now. It's just like nothing to me. It's just like, it's like a routine now. So let's fast forward to when I was 18. Oh, so actually, yeah, fast forward to 18. So we went back to the doctor, every 3 months to get blood work to make sure my thyroid was leveled out and everything was good, and then it kept going out of whack and this, that, and a third. So fast forward to 18, I went back to the doctor and I gained more weight. My period did come, but it was very like on and off. Like it was still irregular, but it was like coming on and off, which I was happy that I finally got it back, but it was still coming when it wanted. So that was pretty tough on me. So fast forward to 18, I gained weight. My doctor told me I gained weight. So I was pretty devastated. And she suspected something was up. Oof. She suspected something was up because of the weight gain and, my irregular periods. So she suggested for me to go to the gynecologist. Now, when I heard her say that, I was just like, girl, no. No. So I was really like not feeling it. So we decided to go to a stomach doctor because I was having a lot of extreme pains in my stomach also. So I pretty much went to the stomach doctor or whatever, got checked out, perfectly fine. But in February of, I don't know what year, but February when I was 18, I pretty much went to the gynecologist. Now, if you guys don't know what a gynecologist is, it's a doctor that checks your female areas, your private coochie loochie. Let's call it that, coochie loochie. If you don't know what a coochie loochie is, do the math. And they check your breasts, they check your coochie loochie. They take blood, depending on. Now, I'm gonna explain that, but pretty much I went with my sister Jessica, and she's like, oh, you gotta go, and I told her I was like super nervous and I was just not feeling of going. So she's like, you're going, and my sister is tough, like she doesn't care, she's serious about doctors, like she cares about health so much. So I was happy that she pushed me to go, and like, she told me everything's gonna be okay, and she told me like, I kept asking like, how is it, like, is the doctor nice and this and that. She picked like this perfect doctor for me, so I was pretty happy. So February I went, and what is it called? So we went to the OBGYN, and we pretty much was in the waiting room. This was in New York, so I went to New York for this because my insurance out where I'm living does not accept me anywhere. So I was pretty like devastated about that also, because my insurance was like so hard to find out here. So did I just mess up my makeup? Okay, no. So I had to go to New York. So we were in the waiting room. I had to put all my paperwork, blah blah blah. So the nurse finally calls me in, and I'm just like nervous as shit. Like, I did a video of my first time going to the OBGYN, so just go check that out. It is somewhere on my channel. I just did it like 2 days ago, I believe. So I pretty much went in, she checked my blood pressure, she checked my weight, she checked this, and then she asked me like, are you dealing with anything? And I told her I was dealing with weight gain and irregular periods, and that I have thyroid disorder and high cholesterol. And pretty much she checked all that, and then she took me to the room and they told me to put this paper thing and dress from the bottom down and to unclip my breast because the doctor needs to check my breast for breast cancer. So I was like, I felt content at that point because I went through the nurse part, and then I was okay after that. Like, I knew everything was going to be okay because I prefer a female doctor, so I was like, I was good. So pretty much I was just waiting, and I was just very anxious. And she finally came in. She was the sweetest doctor. Like, she made me feel so comfortable. She told me that she's, like, to not feel insecure about your body. Everything's going to be okay. She sees different parts of the body every single day, so it's perfectly fine. She just made me feel very at ease and comfortable, and she was just talking to me through the whole process. So when I went in, she asked me personal questions, and I was like, bruh, do I really have to talk about this? So she pretty much, what the OBGYN usually asks to do if you are sexually active, if you use protection, if you're having any irregular symptoms such as periods, if you have any miscarriages, anything like in that sort. So I told her my symptoms like I told the nurse, and she pretty much told me to move my bra and pick up my shirt. She checked my breast and I was perfectly fine. And then they do this swab in your coochie loochie. They swab your coochie loochie and they pretty much put it in this like container tube and they send it to the lab. And she asked me like if I was having abnormal discharge. I told her about the weight gain. I told her about the regular period. I did have an excessive amount of discharge. So she was pretty concerned. So she asked the nurse to give me blood work. And I don't know why she was concerned, but she was concerned. So I guess she knew something was up because she probably sees these type of situations all the time. So the nurse took 9 tubes of blood from me, and boy, when I tell you, like, I was so lightheaded after that. I don't even know how I was walking straight, but I was good. My sister gave me a banana. So she took 9 tubes of blood, and then she's like, alright, we're going to do an external and an internal ultrasound. And I was like, huh? Girl, what? And I was like petrified. I was like, I did not know this was like this whole big process. And I don't know if every person gets this when they go to the OBGYN, but I guess people that have these type of issues have to do this. So they pretty much checked my ovaries, they checked my cervix, they checked all that good stuff in the coochie loochie. Internally they took pictures, externally they took pictures. So pretty much she told me that my lab results would be in within a week or so, and she'll call me because I lived in a different state, so she didn't mind telling me over the phone, or if I needed to come back, I needed to come back. So I think a week passed, or like a week and a half passed, and she called, I believe, my sister or me. I'm not too sure because it was like 18 was 2 years ago, and I'm gonna be 21 next month, so about 3 years ago. So I really do think she called my sister though, because yeah. So she called my sister, and my sister said that you have to come back to New York. She didn't tell her why or any reason, that I just have to go back to New York. So I was freaking out at that point, like, what the hell, why? So my sister was, we were both worried. My mom was like, everything's gonna be okay, My mom put me at ease, and my sister put me at ease a lot. my whole family was, trying to make sure I was good. So I went back down, and they pretty much did the same thing over. The nurse, what she had to do, and then she put me back in the room, but she told me not to get undressed, that the doctor's just going to go over my results. So I was like, okay. So I'm waiting, and it's like, passes like 15 to 20 minutes. So I was like, I'm a very impatient person, especially when it's like a room. So I was pretty bored, but I was on my phone, whatever. So the doctor walks in, and she's like, hi, Emily. I was like, hi. And she's like, I'm sorry you had to come back out here, but I'd rather talk to you about this in person. So I was like, okay. Like, I was really nervous, and if I start crying, I'm sorry. It's just a really tough topic to talk about. So when I went back and I was sitting, and she told me that my hormone levels were out of balance, and I was like, is that because of my thyroid? Like, I was just thinking like so much at that point, and I didn't question anything, because I just kind of just stared at her with a blank face, because I really did not know what to say. And she told me that I have PCOS. Now, I didn't know what that was. I did not know what that was. And I was like, am I gonna die? Like, I was just so nervous. So she told me that it's polycystic ovary syndrome. So I didn't know what that was. And she's like, oh, do you have any questions? She told me my levels and all that. And then she told me to pretty much come in every year to get a checkup. So I was pretty like shocked, because like when you go to a doctor, you expect not to hear bad news, and like from 2016 till 2018, I was just dealing with bad news on bad news, and it was really it was just bad news on bad news. And it was just a lot to deal with. Because like, you don't ever expect to go to the doctor and keep hearing that there's something wrong. And a lot of people, like, they don't think like thyroid or PCOS is bad. Like, people just look at it like, oh, cancer is bad. Like, it could be a lot worse. And I get that, but she told me that like if I had like PCOS, like if anybody in my family has it, and they told her no. Like, she's like, okay. She's like, you could have, you got this most likely when you were hitting puberty. And she asked me, what age did I get my period? And I said 10. And she's like, that's the first sign of PCOS. I'm sorry, guys. It's just a really hard topic to talk about. So I pretty much make sure I'm still recording. Okay. So I was pretty devastated. And I went to the waiting room. She's like, oh, how'd it go? And I just didn't know what to say. Like, I wanted to cry because I felt like alone. Like, oh God, I can't fucking catch myself. Stop crying. I felt like I pretty much caused all these problems upon myself when the doctor told me that PCOS is, 1 in 5 women get it all the time, and a lot of women get it. Not every single woman, but a lot of women get it. But I told her, like, oh, the doctor said I have PCOS. She's like, what's that? I was like, she said it's polycystic ovary syndrome. So she looked it up, like, on Google, and she's like, oh, like, my mom called my sister and asked her, like, oh, how did Emily's appointment go? And she told her, and she's like, is she okay? Like, my mom was so concerned because she didn't know nobody knew what it was. Like, nobody knew what it was. Make sure my battery is good. So, I have to clean my glasses on. So, everybody, like, was a little, like, oh, okay. So, pretty much, I took it really bad. I went in a deep depression about it. And, it was pretty hard for me to deal with for a long time. Because I was, like, dealing with my thyroid. I was dealing with my cholesterol. I was dealing with weight gain, irregular periods, all that. So, it was just a lot on my plate. And, so I started having pains, like, in my ovary area, so I started getting worried, so I went back to the OBGYN. They checked me. I went to a different one, and they didn't find anything, and she just told me that I have a lot of, like, gas issues, where, like, gas pockets get stuck because of, like, bad foods or stuff like that, so I had to change my diet. So through that whole time that I got the PCOS and all that, I was trying to lose the weight. When the doctor did tell me that my cholesterol was high, I was trying to lose the weight. I went to the YMCA for a good 5 months, 4 to 5 months, and I was working out. I changed my diet. I started spreading my horizons with foods because I am a picky eater. So it was a tough journey. But I still didn't lose anything. So I kind of had lost hope. So that's why I went to OBGYN. And she pretty much put me on birth control, which pretty much makes me gain female hormones because my levels of male hormones were high. So pretty much what I was dealing with was the excessive hair, excessive facial hair, the weight gain, the irregular periods, the sadness, the depression, mood swings, headaches, sleep fatigue, all that. And my hair started falling out as soon as I went, like, a couple months in taking the birth control. My hair was falling out extremely. So, like, because I know that's, like, you get hair loss because of the PCOS, but I never had hair loss. So it was a really dark time for me. It still is, like, it's pretty tough. Like, obviously you guys could tell, like, me crying and stuff, it's still hard. So pretty much I'm gonna give you guys advice because I don't want to keep going on with the story situation. So pretty much my advice is go to somebody that you trust, somebody that listens, somebody that really cares about you, and somebody that's there. Whether it's your mom, your sister, your brother, your dad, your grandma, grandpa, your aunt, a friend. Go to them and tell them, like, if you're dealing with anything that I talked about with this, make sure you tell them, like, I want to get checked, blah, blah, blah. Another thing is, don't feel like, if you are a woman that has PCOS, don't feel like you lost your battle or you feel like low about yourself, because PCOS got nothing on you. Let me tell you, PCOS got nothing on you. You have control of your body. You have control of everything. It's just, it may be a little harder. Another tip I'm going to give you guys is make sure, if you feel like there's something wrong, make sure you ask the doctor to get blood work and an internal, external ultrasound if they can, because if you're having symptoms that I pretty much addressed about then you should definitely get checked out. And if you guys do want to comment or direct message me on my Instagram, please do that, because I am always willing to talk about stuff like this, especially about this, because it's very hard. It's very freaking hard. So another advice I'm going to give you is don't feel scared. When you, like, if you get diagnosed with it, don't get scared, because when you read up stuff on Google, like, that you can't have kids, just know there's hope at the end of the tunnel. You know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, because every woman does not deal with not having kids. I've seen so many stories with women that have PCOS and they have kids, you know, as many times, as long as it took, they still got to be able to start a family, have kids. You know, it may be harder on others because they might struggle and they might deal with miscarriages, or some people might not be able to get pregnant at all. And it's a tough situation for everybody, but at the end of the day, as long as you got a good support system by your side, make sure that you got your family by your side, really, really good friends, not negative friends, good friends to stay by your side, and just try to stay strong about it, because there is hope, and you know, you're gonna get through it like every other person that has this. And if you guys pretty much have any questions or do you want to talk about it, please, like I said, comment or direct message me on my Instagram. It's always down in the description. But another tip is just stay positive, because it is one hard ass ride. I just wanted to make this raw video because I feel like it's necessary to talk about, and I feel like it needs to be talked about. So that was hard for me, but I am so happy that I talked about it, because I think you guys seeing how I feel about it and seeing my emotions and, like, no fake tears, literally raw footage, you know, it would really make you guys open up about things, especially with family, friends, even with people you don't know. So I hope you guys enjoyed my PCOS story, and I hope you guys stay subscribed and just understand my story and understand that every day is going to be a new day, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.